channel, and if you're new here, my name is Devin, and on this channel we talk about all things plants. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you could decorate with your plants in 5 easy ways. So one of the reasons that I actually got into plants is that I use fungus net. One of the reasons I got into plants was I use them a lot with my decor. Instead of like knick-knack pieces, I use a plant. And that's kind of how my collection has grown over the years and kind of evolved into a decor style more than just having them everywhere in my house, if that makes sense. So if this is something that you're interested in or you like my decor style of plants, keep on watching this video. But before we get into it, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. I have almost been on YouTube for a year and I would love to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year. That's kind of my goal and I'm not that far off from it, and it would really mean a lot to me if you would subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified every single time I upload upload a plant, but upload a video. And also I will put my Instagram name on the screen as well as a direct link down in the description box, so you can follow me along on Instagram where I share more of my decor style with plants and how-tos and just kind of my daily life with plants. And if you need some more planty feed, go follow me. So the first method of decorating with plants I would suggest is hanging them. And it's also very pretty because certain plants like a pothos and a lot of the other trailing plants like the scindapsus and stuff look really pretty if you hang them down, and if you have like this whole like draping effect of hanging plants, I think is beautiful, and it really gives you that like true jungle vibe that you're going for. And I know hanging from the ceiling is not always the best option, or you know, if you rent, you can't really screw into the ceiling, or even if you don't rent, you don't want to make a hole in your ceiling. There's definitely different ways that you can hang. A way to hang a plant pot is hanging them from your curtain rod. You can get the S-hooks, you can just loop them directly on there, or you can loop it through the actual curtain rod, which I've done a lot of times. But I would suggest just not hanging anything over like a 6-inch pot, because it can get really heavy once you get up to the 8-inch, 10-inch pots. Usually, I don't know, you can try. I would say maybe in a nursery pot it might be light enough to hang there without putting stress on whatever it's hanging on. But it's also really pretty to have a bunch of little smaller ones hanging down, kind of creating almost like a curtain effect. Another great option for hanging plants that, like I said, might not be renter friendly, but is wall-mounted hanging plants. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I have a few of them in my house where they just screw in and you place the like terracotta. I use terracotta pots because it has that lip so that they can hang onto, but that is also another way to elevate your plants in a space. And down my staircase, I actually have 3 hanging plants in a planter up against the wall, and I have my pothos hanging there, and it's nice kind of like as I walk down the stairs, it's got this trailing effect. I'm hoping to get them a lot longer and trail a lot longer. And these are just in plastic pots that you could take out that I actually got on Amazon, so it's a really lightweight option as well. So you could even if you are renting, you can attach it with a command hook and not make any holes in the wall. So again, anything that I can find that I use in my house, I will link them in the description box. I know that they're on Amazon, and they come in multiple sizes and for a really affordable price. So the third way to use hanging plant pots is from the ceilings. I only have one pot hanging from the ceiling, and it's a smaller, like 3-inch to 4-inch pot. You can get the little hooks. Like I think I got a set on Amazon that come with like the ceiling plug, and also you can just screw it directly into it. It makes a smaller hole to hold a lighter plant. So if you have a heavier plant, I would suggest using the ceiling plugs, which kind of like expand out and you just screw in. But this is also a great way to get your plants up off the ground and kind of create different levels with your plants. And of course, it's beautiful as the plant trails down. You get that extreme jungle effect that I feel like we're all after. Okay, for the second way to decorate with plants is using baskets. So baskets is a pretty easy way to just stick your plant in, and automatically you have a beautifully aesthetic styled plant. Like you can get baskets pretty accessibly. I feel like many decor stores like your Marshalls, your Targets, your TJ Maxx, Hobby Lobby, you know, thrift stores is a great place to find baskets too. The one behind me, I think I got on Amazon. It's a little bit smaller, but it's, you know, it's literally still, this plant's really dry. And it's nursery pot, and just stick it in a basket and voila, it's already elevated. I use them a lot. As you can see, like behind me, I have it elevated up on a stool to kind of create like different levels. Like this one back here is in a basket as well. It's a really affordable way to decorate with larger plants because you don't have to find like really big pots that can be expensive or heavy. They're heavy most of the time. You can find really basic baskets at places like IKEA and thrift stores and DIY them to elevate them to like a, you know, match your aesthetic more. Like you can add pom-poms, you can add different designs, you can paint on them, you can spray paint them. I actually made a video of DIYing a plant basket into a plant stand, and I will link the video somewhere in the cards that you guys can go back and watch it. Baskets are also a great way to get that boho vibe because they have the natural colors that they have. The woven textures really leans towards that bohemian natural vibe that's really popular right now and goes really well with plants. I've also found really colorful baskets from places like World Market, even on Amazon. I found some plant baskets on Amazon as well that are really good quality. The suggestion I would make is to make sure if you're going to be putting your plant in the basket, I would definitely put some sort of tray on the bottom so when you water it doesn't go through the baskets, because I've done that a few times where I've forgotten to put the tray in and I water it and then water just goes everywhere. You know, you live and you learn. So the third way to decorate with your plants is placing them on a windowsill. So like I mentioned before with hanging them in front of the window on your curtain rod or something like that, you can also have them sitting on your windowsill. The suggestion I would make is make sure that if it's a south or west facing window, it's plants that can handle really intense sun. But on like north facing and east facing windows is perfect to put on a windowsill because the sun is not going to damage your leaves or anything like that, just because the sun is not as harsh as a south or west facing window. With that aside, placing your plants on a windowsill is also a great, you know, renter-friendly way to do it if you don't want to make holes or anything like that. If you have a wide enough windowsill for most plant pots, my windowsills probably can only hold about a 4-inch pot. I also have a little propagation station that's sitting on a windowsill in my bathroom where it gets a little bit of morning and evening light. Alright, the fourth way to decorate with plants is using plant stands. And this one's a little bit tricky for me because I find that plant stands that don't come with the plant pot can end up getting really expensive. I know like places like West Elm sell these plant stands for like over $100, which is wild to me. You could definitely DIY them. Like this one back here is actually a DIY of just some wooden poles and disc and then screwed together, which is a good affordable way to create a plant stand. And I've also gotten one off of Facebook Marketplace that was a vase holder and I stuck a pot on it. Or you can find them more affordable on places like maybe like Target and Marshalls, but a lot of times in my experience that I don't find the right size I'm looking for. They're always kind of small. So another hack that I use for a plant stand is actually elevating them on things like a stool, or like I have a lot of tree stumps in my house, so I use those as plant stands as well. And like this one right here, I actually got that. I think you could always find these like wooden pieces from TJ Maxx or Target. Not Target. TJ Maxx or Home Goods. And I actually just bought like pen legs off of Amazon and just easily made a plant stand. You know, it can hold enough weight to hold your plant. And what's great about using plant stands is you can really create different levels to fill a space. Like I use them a lot in different corners of my house, some taller, some shorter, to kind of group them together to make sure that it's pleasing to the eye and I have enough levels of when I decorate plants, and also the different plant shapes and stuff like that will help in, you know, creating a space that feels pleasing to your eye. And it's also great to use plant stands on your medium-sized plants that don't quite fit on a shelf or don't quite fit on the windowsill. You can't hang them, but they're not big enough to be on the floor. All right, and the fifth way to decorate with plants is shelving. Again, shelving comes into play of, is it going to be screwed into the wall? Is it going to be a freestanding shelf? I don't think either one is better than the other. I think it really depends on your style and if you can screw into the wall or not. I have a lot of different styles of shelves throughout my house. I feel like a tried and true way of displaying your plants and really being able to use them as decor pieces. Like I said in the beginning of the video, of how I replace like trinkets and other decor stuff with plants. So decorating a shelf, instead of putting a trinket, you just replace it with a plant. And you can add other decor pieces like books, like I guess trinkets. You can add them and mix them together to kind of create that nice shelving moment. I've actually created an entire video of how I DIY'd plant shelves, and I will link it in one of the cards above. And I kind of walk you through of how I made the shelves. I think that's I'm saying that a million different ways. But I love putting them on shelves too, because you have the plants that they're not big enough to be floor plants, or you don't want to, they're not a hanging style plant. And I think it's just a great way to display your hobby, your plants. And you could really, again, make that full jungle vibe. A key tip I will say if you are decorating with them is to group things in 3. Your eye naturally makes sense of groups of 3. If you have a lot of stuff in like even numbers, your brain will try to group them in equal sets, like 2 and 2. Like say if you have 4, it will try to like group them into 2 and 2. And odd numbers are more pleasing to the brain because they can't separate them in equal groups. So it aesthetically is more pleasing. Like, I usually use 3 or 5. You can use 7 if you want. It depends on how many plants you have. But a good rule of thumb is grouping things in 3. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean 3 plants. It could just mean 3 plants and a crystal, 3 plants and, or 3 plants. It could mean 2 plants and a crystal, or it could mean 2 plants and a styled book or something like that, or a photograph. Or you can have 3 different levels of different plants. Or you can have, what I like to do sometimes is take 3 of the same species of plant and kind of group them together. Like with my calathea, when I put it on a shelf, I have 5 of them across. No, I have 4 of them across because I couldn't fit 5, so I kind of went against my rule. But do I have 4? Yeah, 4. I couldn't fit any more onto the tray that I had, but I made sure that all of the plant pots were the same black. The pebbles were the same black. So everything on the bottom was all the same. So your eye focuses on the foliage, which of course on calatheas is beautiful. So you have a variety of foliage there as well, and kind of try to mix in the different purples with the different greens. There's a million different ways that you could style plants on a shelf, and I know it can be kind of intimidating sometimes, or like overwhelming, because there's some that love to just throw as many plants on a shelf as possible, and some just want a little decor pieces here and there. It definitely comes down to your style.
From my window, sun's coming up like the day before. You're like a stone on my pillow. I don't make a sound when I shut the door. You don't have to wake up yet.
That's it for this video. I hope these tips were helpful in helping you decorate with your plants. Again, if you want to follow me over on Instagram, I give more examples of how I decorate and how I style my plants. And before you go, if you want to subscribe, that would be amazing. And I hope you guys have a really awesome day and a great week. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.